Okay, welcome while we read about John Tyler, who was the 10th President of the United States of America. He was President from April 4th, 1841 to March 4th, 1845. Tyler became President after William Henry Harrison's death in April of 1841, only a month into Harrison's presidency. Tyler became the first Vice President to ever become President without an election. His rise to the presidency threatened the presidential ambitions of people like Henry Clay and others, which left him quite disliked by both major parties. Everybody hates you. How are you going to get anything done? He was initially a Democrat after the Democratic Party collapsed, but he did oppose Andrew Jackson during the nullification crisis as well as during the Bank War, seeing Jackson's actions as infringing upon states' rights. So, Tyler became a Whig. The Republic of Texas separated from Mexico in 1836. Tyler, who was a firm believer in manifest destiny, saw Texas's annexation as providing an economic advantage to the United States and worked to make it happen. He wanted a full term as president, but after failing to gain support, he withdrew in support of Democrat James K. Polk, who favored Texas annexation. Way to go, John Tyler. Polk won the election, and Tyler signed a bill to annex Texas 3 days before leaving office. Under Polk, the process was completed. So basically, Tyler did all the work to get Texas to join the United States, and James K. Polk finished the job. When the American Civil War began in 1861, John Tyler sided with the Confederacy and won election to its House of Representatives shortly before he died. So the USS Princeton disaster, this is kind of a side note. It's not something you're really going to be tested on, but it's pretty fascinating. A nice, cool little story. So during a cruise down the Potomac River, it was held aboard the brand new ship, the USS Princeton, a day after the completion of the Texas Annexation Treaty. Aboard the ship were 400 guests, including Tyler and his cabinet, as was the world's, at the time, largest naval gun, the Peacemaker. The gun was ceremoniously fired several times in the afternoon to great delight. Oh, yes, big... Oh, wow, it's so delightful, huh? Several hours later, Captain Stockton, the captain of the Princeton, was convinced to fire one more shot. Ah, good sir, please fire the Peacemaker one more time. It so delights us. As guests moved up to see this, Tyler paused downstairs because his son-in-law, William, he was singing, and Tyler stopped to listen. At once, an explosion was heard from above deck. The Peacemaker had malfunctioned and had been poorly made. Actually, the metal was not made up to modern standards at the time, and so it could only handle so much. Tyler was unhurt because he had stayed safely below decks to listen to his son-in-law William sing. But a number of others were killed instantly, including 2 of his crucial cabinet members. Also killed or mortally wounded were politicians and military personnel, as well as Armistead, Tyler's black slave. The death of Representative David Gardner of New York had a devastating effect on his daughter, Julia. Julia had fainted, and she, after fainting, was carried to safety by the president himself. Oh, very romantic. Julia later recovered from her grief, and she married John Tyler. Historian Edward P. Kraepel wrote that prior to the assassination of Abraham Lincoln, the Princeton disaster was the most severe and debilitating tragedy to ever confront a president of the United States. There is also another USS Princeton. Side note to the side notes, the USS Princeton in World War II was a Essex-class aircraft carrier, and it was at the largest naval engagement ever, the Battle of Leyte Gulf, the United States versus the Empire of Japan. This is the same battle where the Yamato was destroyed. And the USS Princeton in World War II, completely different ship, it was hit by a 550-pound Japanese bomb. And huge fire started out. Ships were called in. I believe the Birmingham was called in to be next to it and try to help put out the fire. But eventually the fire spread to the magazine where all the ammunition was stored and blew up. But the ship was so resilient, it still didn't sink. So the American Navy actually had to sink it themselves. This USS Princeton that we're reading about here, it actually survived it, and they fixed it, and it kept going. If you want to learn more about the USS Princeton from World War II, I'm going to put in a link to a World War II newsreel by the British talking about it. So it's actually a news episode from World War II. And if you want to watch that, the link will be in the description. So just fun little extra things. So, hope you're learning, and I hope you're having fun.